Today, we're going to tear apart one of the most brilliant and, frankly, one of the most shocking essays ever written. The whole point here is to figure out not just what it's saying, but how it works. Because in doing that, we can start to understand the very dangerous and very powerful art of satire.
It all starts with this line, a sentence so unbelievably awful it just stops you in your tracks. Back in 1729, Jonathan Swift actually proposed that the starving people of Ireland should start selling their own babies as food for the rich. It's an idea so grotesque, it immediately begs one single urgent question.
I mean, really, why would anyone, especially the respected dean of a cathedral, write something so fundamentally evil? The answer is the whole magic trick, isn't it? It's the key to understanding how a lie, a really monstrous lie, can sometimes tell a much, much deeper truth. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack.
So to get to the why, we first have to appreciate the how. We've got to look at the genius of its construction. See, Swift didn't just write down an outrageous idea. He crafted the perfect disguise, the perfect mask to deliver it.
Now, this is absolutely crucial to get. Swift isn't speaking as himself here. He's putting on a persona, the voice of a projector. Think of a modern-day, data-obsessed, totally heartless economic consultant. He's making fun of all these pamphlets that were popular at the time, these dry reports that offered cold statistical fixes for human suffering, basically reducing people to numbers on a spreadsheet. Swift just takes that cold logic and pushes it to its most insane conclusion.
But that disguise? That was just one tool in a whole arsenal of weapons. Satire isn't just about being funny. At its best, it's a form of verbal warfare. And Swift? Well, Swift was a grandmaster. And he used a very specific set of weapons to make his point.
You have to understand not all satire is created equal. On one hand, you've got Horatian satire. It's kind of gentle, a friendly poke in the ribs. Think of something like The Simpsons. But what Swift is doing here, oh man, this is pure Juvenalian satire. It's not gentle. It is angry. It's fueled by this white-hot moral rage, and it attacks what it sees as pure evil. So let's look at his specific weapons. You've got verbal irony. I mean, come on, calling this horrific plan modest? Then there's exaggeration, taking the idea that the powerful are treating the poor like animals and just taking it all the way, literally. He uses parody, perfectly mimicking the dry, serious tone of those economic planners he hated. And then the knockout blow, juxtaposition. Using this calm, civilized, rational language to talk about something as barbaric as cannibalism. It's that clash that creates the horror.
All right. So we've seen how he built this thing. Now we can finally get to the main event. Why? Why did he feel he had to do this? The answer lies in the history, in the absolute hellscape that was 18th century Ireland, a reality so bleak it demanded a response just as fierce.
And this wasn't just some abstract problem for him. Look at this timeline. By 1729, Ireland was being systematically and deliberately choked to death by English policy. You have laws that destroyed their main industries, laws that stripped the Catholic majority of their right to even own land. And then, right before he writes this essay, bam, a series of terrible famines hits, causing mass starvation. This wasn't bad luck. This was a man-made catastrophe.
And if you want one number to really drive it home, get this, 5%. By the end of that century, that's how little land the vast Catholic majority owned in their own country. These laws were designed to break the spirit of an entire people. That is the scale of the injustice that was fueling Swift's rage.
And this is why the essay is so incredibly brilliant. Swift wasn't just inventing a shocking metaphor out of thin air. He was exposing a truth that was already happening. The wealthy English landlords were already devouring their Irish tenants through insane rents that bled them dry. Swift's proposal just makes that metaphor literal.
And here's the secret genius of the whole piece. Near the end, his soulless narrator character dismisses a whole list of other possible solutions, calling them crazy fantasies. But here's the twist. That list of ideas, things like taxing absentee landlords, buying local, investing in Irish businesses, those were the exact practical, common-sense reforms that the real Jonathan Swift had been begging the government to enact for years. His message was crystal clear. If you won't listen to reason, well, then what's left but madness?
Okay, so what does a 300-year-old essay have to do with us right now? Well, the dangerous game Swift was playing and the weapons he used are, maybe, more relevant today than they have ever been.
It actually has a name now. It's called Poe's Law. It's basically the idea that on the internet, without a clear emoji or a /s for sarcasm, it's pretty much impossible to tell if someone is a genuine extremist or just parodying one. Swift was playing this dangerous game centuries before the internet, betting that his readers would be smart enough to get the horrifying joke.
And we see Poe's law in action all the time. I mean, how many times have you scrolled through social media and seen an aunt or an old friend sharing a story from a satirical site like The Onion, completely convinced it's real news? That's the exact risk Swift was taking. When your satire is that good, that deadpan, some people are always going to miss the point.
All of this brings up a huge ethical question that we talk about constantly today, especially with comedy. It's the idea of punching up versus punching down. Punching down is using humor to mock the powerless, the marginalized. It's really just bullying. But punching up, using satire to critique those in power, that's seen as an essential tool for speaking truth to power.
And that is why A Modest Proposal endures as a masterpiece. His target was never the poor Irish people. His rage, every last drop of it, was aimed squarely at the powerful, the indifferent English government, the greedy landlords, the elites who just didn't care. It is the ultimate example of punching up. It's a weapon fired in defense of the defenseless.
Which leaves us with this one final nagging question. Swift tried reason. He wrote serious proposals. He pleaded his case. And he was ignored. It was only then that he unleashed this work of pure fury. So it forces us to ask, when the plain truth falls on deaf ears, when people refuse to listen to reason, is a monstrous, unforgettable lie the only weapon that can actually make them pay attention?